So our new anime starts with Ikki Kuragain, who was forsaken by his father and mother for not having the talent to become a magical swordsman. But Ikki decided to change that and worked hard every day to train by himself to become a magical knight while attending the Hagen Academy. But when he returned to his dorm room, a bright heavenly light blinded him and he saw a beautiful sight of a girl, so to make it equal bro showed his own six-packs to her. Her name was Stella and she was a princess. And Principal Kurono couldn't believe she had to deal with a pervert incident on her first day of work, so Ikki apologized to Stella for his behavior, and Kurono told both of them that they are actually roommates and had to share the room before the things could escalate. Ikki was confused because he was paired up with an A rank while he's a F rank. But that's precisely why the academy decided to pair the best one with the worst in hopes for him to learn something. But Stella had a problem sharing a room with a guy. But there were many other male and female pairings in the academy, so Stella had to gulp down the rules to stay at the academy. Stella made some ground rules for staying together, which is: Ikki can't speak, neither can he open his eyes nor can he breathe, in short, just die. She felt violated breathing the same air as Ikki. So she made this stupid rules herself that no way Ikki would accept, so to solve their couple's quarrel, Kuron suggested them to have a marked battle and the winner will have the chance to decide the rules. Ikki was looking positive for this battle, so seeing that, Stella puts another rule that the loser will become the winner's slave for the life. Their class was apart like sky and ground and all the Spectre believed Ikki is sure to lose. So the battle between the two began, and Ikki was just defending himself for a few minutes, and after observing Stella, he copied all of her moves which took her years to master. Stella was slowly being pushed back from the surprise, but at the end she used her magic to block Ikki's attack. She admitted that she couldn't win against Ikki without magic. So she used all of her power in one attack, but Ikki was no less than her. Despite not having magic to use, he defeated Stella with purely physical power, but that puts a lot of strain on his body. So Stella was curious that someone as skilled as Ikki was an F rank. So Kuron told Stella that the reason Ikki was given F rank was because he doesn't have magic, so they can't make any assessment to his power. Stella began to realize that she, a genius who had never lost a battle, could learn from Ikki, so she made peace with Ikki to live together, but she remembered about their deal to become slave of the winner. So Ikki orders Stella to become his friend. Ikki's backstory is a bit sad, but only his sister never abandoned the guy. She was on her way to the academy as she also joined as a first year. But when Ikki was a first-year student, he wasn't even allowed to attend any classes because no one was able to measure his power. But their Kagami from the newspaper club sticks up to Ikki to interview him, but Stella got jealous seeing that, so Ikki chases her down, but Suzuka finds her brother in the crowd. She jumps on Ikki to show her affection right away, so Stella had to pull her back from there because they were brother and sister. Shizuku had heard so much about her before coming to the academy. So she asked Stella to stay away from her and her brother, because Stella has no relationship with Ikki, but Stella embarrassingly admits she has master and servant relationship with Ikki. Shizuku was about to turn into a Shinigami when she heard this, so she decided to silence Stella right then and there, but Stella didn't back down and engaged into battle in the academy. So as a punishment for no violence rule, both of them had to clean all the girls' restroom for 7 days, even though Shizuku wanted Stella to leave Ikki alone. But she was bent on staying by Ikki's side, so in anger, Shizuku accidentally spilled a bit of her family situation to her, that Ikki was treated as if he didn't exist in their family. Stella couldn't understand because Shizuku didn't say anything else, so she asked Ikki about it, and Ikki told Stella that his family is a renowned magic knight family. But he didn't have the gift of magic, so his mother and father never treated him like a son and he was left alone in their family from childhood. But he never gave up because he was inspired by his grandfather, who was a legendary magic knight, and he decided to follow in his grandfather's footsteps to become a great magic knight like him. And eventually he was accepted at the Hagen Academy, but his family conspired with the former director of the academy to kick Ikki out. The director made a rule that students who didn't meet the requirements couldn't attend the class, to prevent Ikki from graduating, but things changed when Kurono took that position. Stella showed an understanding for him, and that strengthened their bond, so when Ikki was in the bath, she came in to help him wash his back as a loyal servant. But her top fell out in the middle of her work and poor Ikki had to endure a tight slap for nothing. So, as the story progresses, the school competition was approaching, and both Stella and Ikki were training as hard as they could, but there was still some time before the competition. So Stella thought of asking Ikki out for a date, but before she could ask him out, Shizuku beats her to it. Ikki agreed to meet with Shizuku, so Stella forced her way in. Shizuku brought her roommate named Nagi to act as a wingsman for her and Ikki, but he's a weird one, you can guess from his way. So they all goes around to spend some time and sat down to have something to eat, but when Ikki and Alice went for a restroom break, many attackers made their way into the mall. But they didn't find anyone in the restroom when they attacked, because Alice used his shadow ability to hide with Ikki in the shadow, so Ikki contacts Kurono and informs her about the attackers. And Kurono dug up the info that those attackers are from a criminal syndicate, so she gives special permission to 4 of them to use their weapons as they see fit. They had taken the civilians as hostages, and one of the attackers was about to kill a kid, so Stella steps in to save the kid, but there were many lives at stake, so Stella couldn't use her powers. They threatened her that if she didn't strip down, they would kill the civilians, so Stella had to endure that and strips down to her last piece, but Alice stopped Ikki from jumping in. He knew Shizuku was up to something, and in time, she made a water barrier for the civilians, and Ikki took this opportunity to jump in front of the raining bullets. He used it as Shura from the beginning to dodge all the bullets and beats all of them, but one of the hostages turned out to be an attacker. But Kurihara stole the credit with his stealth ability to save the lady hostage, and everyone thought he beat up and saved everyone, and in the first match of Ikki, he was up against Kurihara. Kurihara is an archer who hides in his stealth area and attacks people from their blind spot. Stella can easily win against Kurihara because she has a long-range attack pattern with her magic. But Ikki is the worst matchup because he doesn't have any magic to attack from long distance, but Ikki puts up a brave front that he could win the match. But even Ikki had second thoughts because of what happened in the past. Alice knew there was something wrong and asked Ikki, so he told Alice that last year. When his parents were colliding with the director to have him expelled, Kurihara picked a fight with him, injuring him in broad daylight, and yet he couldn't even defend himself. Because if he would have raised his weapon, director could use that as an excuse to expel him. So this time in an official match, Ikki wants to win against him. But Ikki got nervous when the time came for his match and he started to hallucinate. But the match still gets started between the two, and Kurihara created a perfect environment for himself to use his natural stealth ability. Even so, Ikki found Kurihara with his calculations from the way arrows were coming, but then Kurihara even made his arrow invisible and hits Ikki in his hands and legs. And Kurihara and others started to badmouth Ikki, seeing him getting beaten up by Kurihara, which Stella couldn't take it anymore. She loudly spoke out for Ikki. Her faith in Ikki brought him back to his senses and he returned back in the game. Ikki found Kurihara with his observe and read skill to predict Kurihara's move. This ability was called Perfect Vision, and he brought Kurihara to his knees and he surrendered in fear. Ikki won his very first official match. But his conditions was a little serious, so Stella stayed beside Ikki the whole time until he woke up. But she was embarrassed because Ikki saw her sleeping, but more importantly, Ikki gets honest and proposes to Stella he's in love with her. Stella had the same feelings for him, but she was embarrassed to admit it out loud, but in the end she confessed her feelings as well. But that's where our first part of the anime ends. But stay tuned to see how Ikki had to endure hardship to show he's a capable man to have a relationship with the princess. Because his own father will become a thorn for Ikki, so stay tuned to watch another part of this anime. Until then, take care.